Hello. This is another controversial topic. I was going to do the third on victimhood culture, but the video is taking me quite a long time to put together because it is quite a heavy subject and it is not funny whatsoever. So instead, I've decided to look at this because this is a controversial item. It is called I believe it's called the Voynich, the Voynich Manuscript, something like that. Dated 1401 to 1599 approximately. No one knows what it's about, but it seems to be some kind of document of botanicals, possibly a diary. No one can decipher it. It exists in a rare book collection at a Yale University. And this is controversial, I suppose, in a way, because it is not decipherable, apparently. So I am going to attempt today to do the impossible and decipher this document. And I hope you'll join me and enjoy the ride. Okay, I have no idea what this is. I've made that symbol before, though. Do you think it's a P or an F? This was found in Italy somewhere. What do you think that is? It looks like the word tough or something. Could even be poetry. If these are the same letters in repetition, there's a repeating pattern here. It looks like a very simple alphabet, possibly only 11 characters or so. Let's say that's is that an O or an A? So there's lots of O's, lots of A's, lots of N-looking things, G-looking things. These kind of remind me of H's. I'll just call them Hej. I'll just make this up as I go along. So this is an Ef. Ash, Geesh, 2. Geesh, hash, ash, ish, ash. Let's call that Zierj. Okay. Gash, hash, ash, ish, ash, gears, ash, hash, ash, nesh, gears. Looks almost like a D or something. Dash, osh, esh, zursh, is, osh, esh, hash, ash, gash, ash, gash, gash, hash, ash, gears. Okay, so, it's very interesting. Hash, osh, gears, ash, gash, esh, hash, osh, hash, ish, zish, ish, gash, hash, ash, zesh, gash, hash, osh, ash, gash, dash, ash, sash, or zash. Like, it seems, I don't believe that this is an alphabet. And this is a video where I am actually quite seriously meaning to decipher this because it hasn't been done. And so I'm finding this kind of challenging and puzzling. It could also be that this is a personal botanical guide, or a means of, I guess, conversing with semblances of natures of the essences of plants. And it's kind of, I guess, in a way, a training manual so that you can communicate your intentions to the plants so that they can be produced in a way that is of your intention. So it's almost like dendriomancy, or dendromancy, I guess you could call it. almost a form of geomancy or geomantic recitation, except specifically towards botanicals. So yeah, whatever arbitrary sounds or meanings that these words have, it's essentially, I think, that way of imprinting onto the language. I wrote a language similar to this, and I challenged a friend of mine to write a language similar to this. His was amazing. His kind of reminds me of ancient Sanskrit, or Orokin. Orokin was a language developed by a company from London, Ontario, called Digital Extremes, and it's a very cursive kind of language that kind of harkens upon that ancient way of almost imparting like a song to the semblance of the sounds of the language. It's very interesting. So I can only assume that those sorts of mechanics have been applied to this language. I can also only suppose that this is indeed a personal work of someone who was deeply entranced by the beauty and pernition of being through vestiges of botanicals, because botanicals are life forms, and I guess maybe this person was very captivated by that. And if this book originated from somewhere within the 14th, 13th, 15th century, approximately, I'm almost quite certain that these are like almost love songs to different forms of botanicals that this person wished would exist, or like had I been able to sit here for years, I would sit here and scream as gears, and as gears, this plant, please bloom, goeth come up, and be yourself true. It's like, basically, like, you know what I mean? And it's like this comeuppance from the soil and the root of the being of the plant that he wishes existed, that can exist, that can, come to fruition and become being. This is beautiful. This is incredibly beautiful. This is a very beautiful work. There is 214 pages, however, so I can only suppose that these are all very distinct kind of like means of conveyance of these plants, means of cultivation, poetry and music kind of about their beings, kind of almost like a code poetry. I also kind of made a book of poetry after and around the same time as that pictorial language or cursive ideographic kind of language. It was just a little bit of a phase I went through. So I can only imagine that there was someone who existed before me and my friends, my few fellows, the folks that I've met that kind of understand these kinds of concepts. Yeah. These are beautiful. I mean, this almost reminds me of like a type of raspberry bush, and lots and lots of looking like almost like poppy blossoms. Very interesting. See, this looks almost like an insect. That's very insect-like, that root system. Oh my, and this looks slightly carnivorous. Could be a sticky, musky patch that releases something, almost like a bell jar plant. Or, I believe they're called bell jar plants. I believe that's what Vileplume, the Pokemon Vileplume, was based on. It's a carnivorous plant that has a leaf over a dome, and it releases a nectar that smells sweet, but it's actually like a sticky, corrosive enzyme, and it digests the insects. Whoa, look at that word. Hash, osh, ash, zirsh, gash, zirsh, ash, zirsh, osh, zir. Looks like a Z, but it's also attached to an O looking thing. I don't know. Like, that's a very interesting language. Almost always kind of languages like this, when they're written out from left to right or right to left, it kind of reminds me of semblances of Elvish. This is very interesting. Oh, look at that. Very simple root system as well. This would probably almost be like a succulent, I would suppose, with some kind of like spongy interior. That could be perhaps be a cross-sectional kind of ideation. And this kind of reminds me of like thistle. Oh wow. A leaf plant with like some kind of platform. That's very interesting too. That would be something I would suppose that the rain would drip onto the stalk leaf and also collect dew or something to that extent. Can only hypothesize the intention, right? And I figured for a controversial topic, this wouldn't be exactly very loaded. This plant, though, wow. Wow, kind of mandragorian. Sweet potato-like almost as well. Very, very tuber-like. Poppy seed-like pods. Very interesting. Those almost iris-like with canna leaves, 5-pointed leaves. Oh wow, that is very poppy-like. That is very poppy-like. Oh wow, and nodule-based parental freaking root system. Amazing. Oh, that's beautiful. Type of lily, like a river lily, almost. Oh my. Almost like lilacs. Giant ingrained parental system. Entwined branches. I wonder if that's an insinuation whether or not this plant could be self-spliced and would actually like physically grow in itself. Again, can only hypothesize. That is a massive acorn instead of leaves or something. It's like a giant flowering acorn. It's so beautiful. I mean, what if this was a means of instruction so that these plants could be bred? You know? Like, and this tells you that you could hack off the roots in such a fashion or something, or when you pluck it from the earth or whatever, it has that kind of sense to it. Maybe this is an example of what it would be like to have a plant from a parent system, and it just kind of suggests that this would be an offshoot or something. Interesting. I'm just gonna scroll a bit now. This one almost looks like it could walk. I've seen a plant that looks like this, and it has nodules like that. This plant, I've seen plants that have leaves like that as well. It kind of, it sheds like heavier, older parts of its leaves because it doesn't, like the plant is stressed by the growth of branches for leaves, and if you like stress out the plant enough, they can actually die. Reminds me of a fern, except this one seems to have pods with massive thistle-like urchin-looking flowers, some kind of blooming thing here. Oh, page 1516, beautifully numbered. Excellent. Oh, here's another. This looks like a permutation of the previous canna-leaved poppy plant, some kind of permutation of that. Oh, indeed. Indeed, that's exactly what it looks like. Oh my goodness, this also looks like a permutation of a previous one. That's kneeling. This might get creepy. Oh goodness, this might get creepy. I don't know how to feel about that. You know, like... Oh goodness. Well, that's kind of beautiful. Oh wow. Its root system is almost like a vessel for it to it's like a self-contained vase. That's amazing. That is amazing too. This double canopy system. Beautiful. What if maybe these were also plants that this person had found? You know? Or something else. Maybe they took a great many, you know, things with them and went into the woods and simply had dreams of plants and would wake up and be like, You know, these diary kind of things about these plants. Actually, this looks like it has a considerable amount of depth to it. Almost like hops. It looks almost like a hops with some kind of seed pod. It's hard to tell if those are supposed to be petals. Interesting. Oh, wow. It's like ornamental bamboo or something. Oh, boy. A plant like this would bring everything to its center and probably even digest the material. Oh, goodness, that's creepy as shit. I wasn't expecting a root system like that, but no, really. A plant like this would digest everything that would fall down to the fucking core of it. Excuse my language. I don't know why I swore, but anyway, it like whatever falls in here, so leaves, dirt, bugs, whatever, it would like digest it and get pushed into this system, and then yeah. Wow. Hypothesis, but that's I've seen a plant that kind of does that. It like pushes dirt into itself, kind of, and it causes it causes almost like a skin, like the bark it kind of separates from the plant, and it kind of like pushes stuff through it. But yeah, this is interesting. Again, very much reminds me of ornamental bamboo and cannon plants, except this seems to be a six-pointed leaf. I'm starting to see a trend in stylistic choices and ideas. These are kind of like a mating flower. It's like, oh yeah, no, they have their own individual root system, but they're crossed and kind of pointed down together. And I'm noticing there's a bit of not in the notation. I'm not noticing necessarily repetition in notation, but I'm noticing like repetition in words. Especially here, I'll see if I can find something. Like here, right? So, osh, hash, ish, zosh. Osh, hash, ish, zosh. And then that's not even a zirsh, that's not a gash, because it's not a G. It's almost like an ampersand or something, and it's got a little, you know what I mean? And there's, I don't know, like there's a repetition, there's that, there's this. I'm sure that this is also in a couple other places. There's another semblance. Keeps popping up. And it's those same cursive words and these same kind of root systems and poppy-looking plants and stuff. Oh goodness, some kind of creature. Yeah, no, this is definitely like someone's diary and wishful thinking and you know, kind of dreaming and hoping and wishing and just enjoying plants and nature, I'm sure. Writing stories and singing songs about nature. This is interesting. There's like a root plateau. Oh boy. Interesting. That is a unique root system compared to the other ones. There is a great deal of speciation kind of going on here. Like, some things are kind of alike, and some things are very much unalike. The concentration of leaves on that one. We're a little bit more than 2/3 through. I'm just gonna, I don't know if I skipped any. Another bell jar kind of thing going on. Vines, fern-like structures, poppy-like plants. Some kind of giant leaf. Who knows if that's symbolic of a smell, flavor, actual perforation within the leaf. Who knows what that's supposed to be a semblance of. That's quite interesting. Having seen a great deal of what would be considered like invasive species or weed species, I gotta say, like, there's a lot of wild flowers that look very alike to some of these things. Very, very alike. These are non-too foreign plant structures, that is for sure. There seems to be some sense to this. However, we have yet to see any fruit-bearing plants. We have yet to see any, like trees, let's say, like pine trees or elk, or, sorry, not elk, elm. Elk trees. Yes, let's see some elk trees. Oh boy. Wow. So yeah, you can download this for yourself. However, I don't think most people would want to. I figure that this video just parsing through these images would be sufficient. You know, hey, this is something that exists and no one knows what it means, and it could be some flight of fancy, or it could be some kind of something else, some kind of other reference, you know? Some kind of kooky botanist civilization that once lived in the mountains somewhere. Who knows, right? Just make up something. Tell yourself a story. Make yourself up a story. Oh boy, we're getting into some complicated stuff here. This is... Okay, this could be somewhat of an almanac kind of thing. Could also be ritualistic. Could be some kind of calendar. Could be a means of deciphering even. Because I'm noticing some notations here, which I don't recall happening in any other way. Upside down, this looks very elvish. Also, that's something else. How it is spelt, how it looks graphically, and how you say it could be the exact reverse, actually. So if this is hash-osh, zesh-esh, or zesh-esh, or rosh, because it looks like an E-R, osh, something, I don't know, that's a bad example. I wouldn't be able to say that backwards. But basically, it would be like... I'd have to actually physically make an example. I think I can do that, though. Just bear with me. And look at this amazing page, which kind of really, really simply does kind of have this weird reminiscent sense of J.R.R. Tolkien-esque Elvish script. It's very similar in some ways. Okie dokie. Sorry, this is taking a bit here. Okay, and wait, I don't want to play Bluetooth. Sorry, I'm trying to do this thing on my phone, so I can. Okay. AirPlay Bluetooth support enabled. Why? Must have been. I am underprepared for this video, and who knows how long this video already is. I am so not respectful of other people's time. Hash ish esh gish osh osh. Just I'll say random. It's random. Nothing was that actual the derivative. So anyway, wait, I wouldn't be able to quickly reverse this, would I? Is there anything to do that with GarageBand? I don't think there is. Damn it! Oh, boy. Well, so much for off-the-cuff recordings, eh? What a waste. Oh, wow. So this is very almanac and calendar-like. Could be also ritual times. Different places to have the plants sitting. How much moonlight or how much sunlight. This looks like how much moonlight. And I'm a layman, right? But I'm deciphering this as I'm going. Sort of, not really. I probably, to be honest, I probably could, which is weird to say because no one has. I'm not a linguist. But like if I seriously sat down and challenged myself, I might be able to give this thing a good try. But unfortunately, the sounds of the alphabet would be kind of arbitrary. So who knows what it actually sounded like. But yeah, the idea would be it would have to be reversed. The speech of it would be reversed. You'd read it one way, but then you'd say it the other. So it's almost like a typewriter reaction. So it'd be like reading it like doot 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 doot, and then you just like, yeah. Sorry, you couldn't see my cursor. So there's no context to the sounds I was making. I've got no words. This is something. This very calendar-like. I don't know. This is building of light or something. Maybe a means of siphoning energy and intention into the plant's being or something. I'm assuming that's really what it is, really, because it's pretty close. This could be means of, I guess, contact with the plants or something, like mannerisms or respect or something. So it's like, after you scratch your balls, wash your hands. Don't touch the plants. After you know, I don't know, because you see the guy in the top, between those two creases in the middle, it kind of looks like he's scratching his crotch. So it's like, if you're going to scratch your genitals, please wash your hands before touching plants. I don't know. I'm just guessing here, okay? There's a woman on the bottom left. Actually, all of the depictions of the women kind of look like they're scratching their bums. What's up with that? And I'm just assuming they're women too, but it looks like lipstick's been drawn on them and long hair and stuff. I don't know. Or are these all women? This might be all women. This might be the thing that the women do. Is there one with men on it? Is there no difference? Oh wow. I think this is supposed to be something. I don't know if this is off the cuff or not. I don't know. This could be very intentioned and very planned. And there's the depictions of the men. I don't know if you recall that, but there was that weird figure kind of dancing, and then there was a man laying down. And that might be when it's like, oh, and that's the men's work, and then the women have to like sing and dance around the plants or something. Yeah, right here. Or something, right? And it's like, and that's where your work stops. And then it's like, then there's the products. You got the seeds and stuff for next year or something. And then they get to do all the preparation or something. This could be... Actually, I saw a lentil and bean organic farm product in and out ordering, machining, maintenance, stuff, like the whole bunch of things. I found a USB stick and I looked for information, and then the only thing with a person's name and phone number on it was this thing with all this financial information, and this looks like that almost. It's like the weight of crops and what you should be expecting, and like it's kind of almost like the weight of intention injection to the plant or something. I'm making far-reaching assumptions here, but it's a guess, and a hypothesis is better than nothing, and I can throw a couple dozen hypotheses at this, collection, this piece, the Voynich Manuscript. I can hypothesize about this quite a bit. See, this is interesting. Maybe they could be bathing. That could be bathing. This is something like, this is the cycle which with the plants go into, and then the women bathe in barrels or something like that. The outside ring, they're like bathing, I would think, or something to that extent. And then the middle, the inner ring, they kind of get out of the barrels and into the light. And it's hard to tell whether or not that's the light of day or the light of night. And then there's two fish, which is kind of a semblance to, say, like river salmon or something, or sturgeon. And here again, bathing in the goat. What could that be? Some of these characters have what looks like some clothing on or something, and here they definitely have clothing on. Or something is happening with that depiction in that regard. That could be dancing. This could be semblance of the night and being skyclad or something like that, and being naked to the elements. Oh boy, so this is... looks like a depiction of water or weight or something like that. And the women are walking with the light in their hand. Interesting. I honestly... okay, my strong hypothesis is that this is indeed a book of intention towards botanical manifestations and the manipulation of botanical organisms over time. This is very interesting. Like, I would say very strongly that that is the case. Oh goodness. Oh boy, this is getting interesting. They've crawled within the bosom of the plant or something. That is very... oh my. Okay, I'm retracting. This could be a hypothesis as to the effects happening within plants for their process of reproduction. And so maybe this could be like an epic yarn about the dimension of plants and the energies in which they perpetuate themselves or something like that. I don't know. Again, I'm throwing hypothesis all over the place here. Oh boy. Looks like seeds. Something like that. Water could be. Getting complicated here. Oh wow. Okay. Okay, so the plants are homes or something? Looks like bathtubs and showers or something here. I don't know. It's a woman standing inside of a fish. Again, making assumptions about the representations made. This is quite captivating. I've never seen anything like this. Near the end of scrolling, I'm going to quickly open up one of my sound recorders and see if I can... okay, Osh, Hesh, Ish, Anch, Gash. Okay? That word right there. I'm just gonna type it into my... so that was Osh, Hash, Ish, Anch, Gash. Okay, and then I'll make the example as to what I mean by you read it one way and it is said another. This is interesting. It's like plants are houses, plants are water in them, something like that. Talking about maybe how the reproductive processes of the plants carry nutrients and water through the systems and create seeds, something to that effect. Again, just another hypothesis. Oh boy. Now this is exactly what many depictions of Yggdrasil look like. In some way, some spheres of existence, the Sephiroth or the Sephirothi. This could be a semblance of an interdimensionality of botanicals. That is a very strong hypothesis with imagery like this. Yes, I would have to say that this could be a means of describing the inner workings of plants' reproductive system, in a very like spiritual, intentioned manner. Oh boy. And I'm quite certain it's fine for me to share this material, as this is a book that has been scanned and thrown on the internet because it's been difficult to discern its purpose. But I honestly think that I nailed it. I believe that in a way all of my hypotheses are the correct hypothesis. However, I believe that my verbal interpretation and my, I would say, conjointal interpretation of linguistic process and graphic analysis is pretty succinct. With it could be very well a matter of consonant and reverse. Yeah. I'll try and explain myself with some interesting audio at the end of this. Interesting. It's I've seen some vines that grow like that, and this might even be fruit bearing. This might be the first one with fruit on it, or maybe the other ones have had that. Different roots, it looks like, almost like radishes and celery or something. Again, just hypothesis. These could be containers or potash. They could be labeled in some manner, it seems. On the left, different containers, different nutrients for different variations or different plants. The root structures do not seem to repeat that much. They seem rather distinct to examples that have been previously given. Yeah. And perhaps the graphics on the left in that stacking thing could be a matter of quantity, and the colors could be like a different means of what you do with mixtures or something. Like, this is how much gravel, this is how much river rock, this is how much dirt, and then potash and blah blah blah. Who knows? Who knows? Again, just hypothesis. Means of treating different leaves, possibly? Or what leaves can be turned into a type of oil? These could be containers, possibly for concentrations. Something to that effect. Again, just hypothesis. What if this is labeled like, this is really poisonous, this isn't poisonous, that's not really poisonous? Like, the leaves are fine, the roots are not. The roots are fine, the leaves are not. Like, who knows? Very interesting. Oh my, the containers. This container seems to be growing. These containers seem to be taking root and growing. What's up with that? Do you see that pattern taking place? The container is becoming elongated and differentiated in coloration, and it's interesting. A mystery of the earth. A document with which no one has any real idea about its purpose or origin. But jolly good. Osh, hash, ash, zirsh. It's kind of like an ish. It's almost like an I or something in there. Anch, ash, nash, zirsh. I don't know. Gash, ash, osh, zirsh. Whoa, that top left notation. Very reminiscent of Tolkien-esque Elvish with that. And it's almost like a redundancy going on there that's spinning out of the pen. It seems as though their penmanship improved, definitely. I would say that from the beginning of this document to now. Yeah. The penmanship has improved quite a bit. The differentiation in flowers and light, or whatever that is supposed to be on the left-hand side, the left-hand column. Very interesting. This is all text. This looks distinct. There's a very big difference here. The penmanship looks slow and intentioned and like laborious. Like it took them a long time to write this, and like they didn't want to put this on the back of it. or something to that effect. Pages also look like they're made out of some kind of leather, or obviously some kind of ancient paper or something. 500-year-old paper. 1967, that's an insert. Wow. Wow. So this is available online for you to look up. It is spelt V something something blah blah blah. Anyway, I'm going to see if I can make myself a little bit of a soundbite here real quick. Osh, hash, ish, and shgash. Osh, hash, ish, and shgash. Shai, shna, she, sha, short. Shashna, shishna, shno. Something to that effect. Shashna, shishna, shno. On, shan, shi, shan, shash. Etc. So you read it one way, but then you speak it the opposite. Something to that effect. I would... Again, it's just a hypothesis. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed this controversial topic. If you enjoy gardening, or know somebody who enjoys gardening, and or possibly has an interest in ancient cultures, rituals, or practices, this is very interesting. It is, that's all it is. It is just simply something that is out there and interesting, and it might not necessarily be highly controversial a thing. But hey, I'm making far-reaching hypothesis about an unknown, so that's something. And in a way, I guess you can say, by watching this video and sharing this video, you unravel a little bit more of that mystery. And maybe part of the mystery is the playfulness of the unknown. And maybe that's the intention. Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you like it. And if you want to see more videos like it, I would say hit subscribe. However, my content is quite sporadic, and these videos are quite ramblish. Yeah. The next one, for sure, will be on victimhood culture, however. So I'm going to preface that now. There's also going to be quite the extended preface at the beginning of the video because of the incredibly serious context. Yeah. Anyway, take care, and thanks for watching.